Alright, just ignore the bus.
I realized that.
This. Actually, no. Find them as a group. Makeshift weapons. I don't know about I don't know what kind. I don't know about makeshift weapons. You gotta have a blunt. At least something blunt. You know. Let's try it again. Do this. Ignore the bus.
I realized that getting on the crowded bus probably wasn't a good idea. If someone on board were infected, then there would have been no escape.
I mean, I've seen city buses where there's two doors, like one is on the front, and then one is in the middle, and then there's a city, yeah, and then I'm pretty sure I think I've took the bus from to work to where they have two exit, two doors. Because the only time I seen a bus with emergency exit are school buses. I mean, yeah, I know there are certain buses that are built that have a top window, but it's like, what's the point? You know?
As I continued down.
Alright, then. I don't know if the paramedic police officer gives you a game over, but I'm not gonna risk that. Pull the hero. The Jeep. What if I don't disagree with what they're doing? It was just trying another vehicle.
I made my suggestion, but the others didn't listen. They really wanted that Jeep.
Wow, they don't agree with me? That is why? Why would you do that yourself? You could have just picked. You're in a car park. There are so many vehicles. I mean, it depends on the car park and the current situation you're in, but still.
The others immediately flung open the doors and started trying to drag the zombies out. However, without my help, they were having serious trouble, and it seemed like they would most likely end up dead if I didn't intervene.
Motherfuckers are trying to use a carjacking tactic. Try to help? Nah, fuck that. I've seen videos where they chose either the motorbike or the freight truck, but knowing how to work, I think the motorbike, you're gonna get carjacked, and plus, if you crash, I mean, unless you're gonna drive pretty, unless you're being very conservative with your fucking of your awareness while on a motorbike, then it wouldn't be too bad. But yeah. We will do the sports car and see what happens.
I headed towards the sports car and didn't look back.
What brand of sports car? I wonder.
I climbed aboard my chosen vehicle and sped away from the car park onto the main street. By then the roads were littered with bodies and car wreckages. It was all I could do to avoid them. Everywhere I looked, I could see only scenes of carnage. It seemed that those not already infected were fighting a losing battle. My thoughts quickly turned to my wife. I tried to tell myself that she would be okay, but that didn't stop the losing feeling in the pit of my stomach. I knew I had to get home as soon as possible. In the distance, I could see a gas station with a few of the zombies on the forecourt. I quickly glanced down at the fuel gauge and saw that I only had about a half a tank remaining.
You have half a tank? Why would you want to fill up gas at a time like this, though? How far is your house? I don't think it's that. Unless you live far enough from your home to your office job, then I can see maybe. But I don't know how strong the car is. I mean, depending on the vehicle, but a freight truck that uses diesel and then using a sports car that uses just just regular gas, you can make your way back home with with the half a gauge. Fuck that. Just continue.
I decided not to stop for gas or supplies due to the potential danger. Half a gas tank was more than enough to get home anyway.
I'm sure you got a gas can and tanks at your home somewhere. What's the point?
I continued down the road before turning onto the main highway out of town. However, it wasn't long before I noticed a mass of vehicles blocking the road ahead. The combined sound of all the honking, shouting, and screaming was deafening. Nobody had kept to their lanes, and cars were packed so closely together that not even a bicycle could squeeze through.
Wow.
The blockage extended so far down the road that it was literally impossible to discern what the cause was.
Wait for the traffic jam, take the vehicle off-road, and go... Off-road? I mean, you might as well find another... I mean, off-road is a little bit... Okay, if I want to put it around logically, waiting for the traffic jam to clear, you're gonna get zombies, breaking, pulling at your car. Off-road in a sports car, little, we'll just do that.
I decided that there was no point in waiting for the traffic to clear, and that without the Jeep, driving off the road was just too dangerous. I headed back the way I
yeah, what
came
if you
and turned off
hit a
the
bump
highway
and then
at
your
the
car
first I soon
get
found
tumbled
a safer,
over?
albeit less direct route home.
I guess. You're gonna end up in a fucking car accident. You drive off road.
As I sped down the disturbingly quiet back road, my mind began to wander. Without the distraction of imminent danger, I began to remember the horrific scenes I had witnessed just an hour ago. Images of mangled corpses flashed before my eyes, and my head began to spin. I swerved onto the wrong side of the road, just as another vehicle pulled out from a concealed entrance. I braked sharply, but it was too late to avoid a collision. Amazingly, I wasn't seriously injured, but my ride was badly damaged.
Well, damn. There goes my good-ass sports car. Oh, shit. Okay, your car is already fucked. That repairing is pointless. You might as well just go on foot. See, oh yeah, I just noticed, anytime, the background scene would change, it's basically like a checkpoint. So, anytime you make a wrong choice, it goes back to the start of the, scene in the background. So it's not like you have to start all over again, but it's like if you go far enough, then to where and the scene doesn't change, then yeah, you have to start over at the specific sequence. So, swerved onto the wrong side of the road, just another vehicle pulled out. Oh, avoid a collision. Might as well go on foot. I'm not going to be bothered to, hijack the other car because it's all messed up. So.
I realized that without transport, I would have to walk the rest of the way home. Not wanting to waste any more precious time, I continued my journey on foot.
Oh well. Sucks to be me, I guess.
After a half an hour of walking, I began to recognize my surroundings, and knew that I would soon be home. There were several different routes I could take.
Continue along the main road. Follow the train line. Along the main road, there's still going to be some carnage. Going through the cornfields, it's kind of like a hiding, but at the same time, there are going to be, some infected that will smell you. I'm not sure about the woods. There is a chance that I will be jumped in the woods. So we'll just try the train.
I decided to get off the main road, as it would undoubtedly be dangerous in such a heavily populated area. I decided to follow the train line instead, since it ran not far from my house and would be totally deserted. Sure enough, I didn't see another soul.
Oh, I'm amazed. I thought there's gonna be some sort of game over sequence there, like got hit by a train. It's like, oops, I walked on the train mindlessly so long that I got ran over.
I finally arrived in my neighborhood, exhausted. I knew that my house was just a little further down the street, but the area was swarming with the infected. Most of them seemed distracted by what few survivors remained, but I knew it was only a matter of time before they noticed me. I remembered about a small alleyway nearby, one that would take me most of the way home in relative safety. I entered the alley, and as expected, it seemed totally devoid of life. However, as I walked past a large dumpster, an infected old man stepped out of the shadows and tried to grab me.
Try to grab you? Punch him in the face doesn't do much. Throw him. Can't really do a judo without the risk of getting bit. Grab the torso, push him, grab him by the. I guess if you're strong, I guess if you have a strong grip, you can just grab him by the neck and say, "You get off me, bitch," type of thing. We'll see.
I grabbed him by the neck, realizing that he'd be unable to bite me. I pushed him away as hard as I could, and he stumbled backward.
There you go.
I had bought myself valuable time, but it wouldn't take long for the creature to regain its balance and come at me again. I turned to run back the way I had came, only to see that another group of them had followed and were now blocking my retreat. My only hope was to try and get past the lone infected.
Well, ain't that great. Grab a brick and throw it. Okay. I'm pretty sure if you have enough strong throw, like, there's no way you would fuck that up and do that. I mean, might as well, yeah, engage in melee combat.
Grabbing a brick, I waited just long enough for the infected to get close before smashing it into his face. There was a sickening crack as his jawbone fractured and blood sprayed from his mouth. My former neighbor fell to the ground, and before he could get back up, I was able to run past.
The former neighbor, a middle-aged man, smashing into his face. Don't zombie apocalypse movies like propagandize of like smashing the zombie's skull in? Why did, like, it said smashing into his face? So, sure. Oh, I almost messed that one up. There we go.
I sped down the alley and back onto the street. When I looked over my shoulder, there was no sign of my pursuers. I could see my house now, just 100 feet or so away. My heart sank when I saw yet another group of infected wandering aimlessly between me and my goal.
Sneak past them, run past them. I don't know about sneaking. They're gonna smell you. Gonna go through the. We'll just try the We'll just try to find a shortcut.
I decided that it was too dangerous to carry on down the street. I went around the back of one of the neighbors' houses and climbed over the fence into their garden. It was tiring, but I carried on scrambling over the fences until I got to my own backyard.
Oh, fair enough.
As I approached the house, I noticed the glass in the back door had been smashed and the door left slightly ajar. I was terrified for my wife's safety.
Glass in the back door had been smashed, the door left slightly ajar. I don't think zombies would ever do that. See, not only gotta deal with the infected, but you also gotta deal with like looters and burglars and shit like that. So, there's that in mind. Oh boy, we are back. I mean, when I say we, I mean myself. So, where I last left off, it was a little bit of a background noise that I was called, and then it was like, but yeah, the as I as this dialogue really showed, when it comes to like coming back to the safe house or coming back home during the zombie apocalypse. So instead of going back in the house because the the window got smashed open, you would be like, I wonder if there's zombies inside. So it'll be like, okay. Instead of going inside because knowing that I'll get jumped by a burglar or looter, I'll be like, okay, I'll just go and find a weapon.
I realized that whoever had broken into the house could still be in there, and without a weapon, I wouldn't be able to help my wife.
Yeah, see, there you go. So it's not like the zombie would intentionally broke into your home, 'cause unless you're spotted, of course. So
I headed over to the shed and checked my pockets. Luckily, I still had my keys and was able to remove the padlock and open the door. Inside, there was a wide range of tools to choose from.
So we got four choices when it comes to weapons. So we got a chainsaw, sledgehammer, crowbar, and a hand axe. The chainsaw would make noise, and then okay, so there are two choices in mind because these are pretty. Like, while the sledgehammer is pretty powerful, it's really heavy pretty heavy weight of a blunt weapon. So it's between these two. Yeah, hand axe is a hatchet or like it's some sort of like a axe to like use for like cutting down like for firewood and shit. So I'd say we'll just do crowbar. Normally people would argue that the crowbar is like pretty heavy of a blunt instrument, but I've seen enough crowbars to where like there's lightweight and heavyweight. So any normal person would have have a strong grip to carry one.
I took the crowbar, knowing that it would be easy to swing indoors,
Plus the chainsaw
yet
makes
still heavy
noise,
enough to
so
cave in a
it's
human skull.
human skull. I love the voice. I love the narration for the game. Oh, hold on. I gotta turn off cursor, or I'll add it.
With my weapon in hand, I left the shed and walked back to my house. Before I could enter, I discovered why the back door had been left ajar. A teenage looter emerged from the house carrying my television, obviously intent on profiting from the crisis. When he saw me, he dropped the TV and pulled out a large kitchen knife. At that moment, I couldn't tell which one of us was more afraid.
Attack the looter, let him go. I'm actually really curious what happens if you attack the looter. I mean, I'm carrying a crowbar, right? I'm pretty sure there's a bit of like a fit. I don't know. It's pretty 50-50 if you click the loot, if you attack the looter, but but considering we're in an apocalyptic situation, it's not like I needed the fucking television anyway. But this guy came in our home, unwarranted, trespassing our home, and so, but we don't. Although here's the thing, though, we don't care. I don't really care about the TV. I'm more concerned about the wife's safety. So
I told the looter that I wasn't going to hurt him and that he could take the TV and go. He didn't bother to pick it back up. Instead, he ran over to the nearby fence and climbed over into the neighbor's garden.
I mean, the looter is a teenager. He could have benefited more for that TV. His fucking weeb ass. Yeah, you better run your fucking otaku fucking ass out of here. I thought you would be needing that TV by now to watch something.
Having dealt with the looter, I walked in through the back door. I was relieved to finally be safely indoors, but I couldn't rest yet. Not until I was certain my wife was okay.
Hmm. You know, for safety, I say barricade the back door. Because if you leave your house, like, unsecured, who fucking knows?
I quickly shut the back door and locked it, then looked around for some furniture to wedge in front of it. It took me a few minutes to properly secure the entrance, but at least I knew nobody would be able to force their way in.
Yeah. There you go. Better be safe than sorry.
I began searching the ground floor for my wife. As I came into the living room, I saw that John from next door was standing there.
Oh shit, it's
He
John.
had his back to me and was clearly oblivious to my presence. His shirt was covered in red stains.
You see, that's what I love about this Flash game. It's like, it's based on, your decisions within the situation and, maybe given morals. Who fucking knows? So we got back to you, clearly oblivious, covered in red stains. He could be infected. So we could walk up to him, but higher chance that he'll turn around and attack us. So we're not gonna back away because he'll probably come back and something, we'll regret it later. Oh, we'll just attack him.
John was surely infected, so I snuck up behind him and hit him as hard as I could on the back of the head. His skull made a satisfying crack and he fell to the floor, dead. I had never liked him much anyway.
Yeah, I don't like this guy. He was a fucking asshole anyway.
As I went to go upstairs, I noticed a note had been left for me by the front door. I recognized my wife's handwriting immediately. The note said that she couldn't wait for me any longer and that she was going to pack her bags and take the car to her parents' house in the countryside. As I read the note, my heart sank. I prayed that she would be able to make it to her parents in one piece, but knowing how hard it had been for me to get here, I couldn't help but wonder if she was still alive. When I realized I may never see her again, I began to feel tears rolling down my cheek.
Now, if you click on leave the house and head for the countryside, I believe you instantly get the bad ending, and it leaves the game over. So, if anything, as far as I've seen from here, he hasn't really checked the entire house yet. So, let's not be a doomer about it and, continue searching until you search the entirety of the house.
I pulled myself together and resolved to keep searching. I needed to make sure the house was secure before planning my next move.
Pretty much. I mean, you've only, searched around just the first floor and such. Probably you don't have... I know he has, probably a basement in his home, so there's that in mind.
As I climbed the stairs, I heard an odd shuffling noise coming from my bedroom. I didn't know if it was my wife, a looter, or another of the infected.
The looter came in. He came back for revenge with his buddies. Oh my lord. Entering cautiously? Nah, fuck that. We could burst in and be ready, but this is our own home. Maybe be a bit courteous, I guess.
I walked over to the door slowly and gently knocked as I called out to whoever was inside. My reply was a scream and a call for help. It was my wife's voice. I swung open the door and went inside.
Oh shit! As soon as he heard his wife's call for help, he's like, "Oh shit!" Just burst in.
The scene that greeted me will haunt my nightmares for years to come. My beautiful wife was pinned on the floor, desperately trying to fight off one of the infected. She could barely keep the creature at bay, and if I didn't act immediately, she would surely die.
Now, running away doesn't... That's also a game over. So, hitting the infected on the head, there's a good chance that you can also kill both. So that's not a good idea. or the blood will come in contact with the wife. So there's that in mind. So if anything, let's just hope that your protagonist has a really decent kick to the zombie's head, and then before finishing before dealing the final blow.
I ran at the infected and kicked it in the face with all my might. It was enough to get the beast away from my wife, and I was able to quickly finish the job without the risk of hitting her by mistake.
Huh. Here you go.
I was finally reunited.
He was like, "Oh, imagine be like, oops,
the weapon
I accidentally hit my wife."
In that moment, I was happier than I had ever been. Yet
Oh,
the
my
feeling
lord.
did not last long. I asked her if she was okay, and she showed me her hand. Blood dripped from several bite marks on her fingers. I didn't know if she would become infected or not, or even how much longer she had. She sobbed as I struggled to decide what to do.
I'll say this, all of these options are gonna result in the game over anyway. Like leaving her, killing her, leaves in a bad ending. Cutting off their fingers? I mean, the bite marks is, the infection is gonna spread through, like, wouldn't you cut off her hand to where, like, unless the infection is pretty slow, then there's a possibility you could cut off the fingers, but depends on when was the, how, like, it depends on, like, did she get bitten just now, then yeah, you can cut off the fingers. So, but, yeah, why not? We're not gonna take all of these, choices, just only this.
I knew I had to do something and do it quickly. If I could stop the spread of the infection, I might just be able to save her life. We ran down to the kitchen, took a clean meat cleaver from the knife rack, and tied an improvised tourniquet around her wrist. Within seconds it was over, and I was carefully dressing the wounds with bandages from our first aid kit. I didn't know if she would survive or not, but at least now we had hope.
It's one of those moments we argue for hope.
My wife and I spent some time discussing what to do next.
Oh, hey,
We realized
orange
that we
background.
couldn't stay
That
in the
means
house
the
forever,
game is already
as
done.
It was just too dangerous this close to civilization. We decided that our best bet was to load up the car with food and supplies and then head for her parents' house out in the country. I made sure the house was secure, dragged the
Oh, your
corpses
home
down
has
to
the
basement,
car?
and then helped my wife
Why'd
get
you take
everything ready.
I guess you took
She
the...
looked
I
pale
guess,
and weak, but it didn't seem like
if the
she
bus
would
route
turn,
takes to your office
at
job.
least not for
yeah.
a while yet. By the time everything was ready, it was already nightfall, so we decided to spend one more night at home before hitting the road. I don't think either of us slept that night, but it was better than traveling
Dragging
in the
the
dark.
corpses down?
We left
I'm
at
hoping that
dawn.
you actually behead them or something. But yes, the to be continued part, that leads up to Dead Frontier Outbreak 2, in which I would one day, play this eventually. Aside of the visual novel readings that I gotta go through, all that stuff, I can maybe squeeze in like. But that's the thing, right? Dead Frontier, you can get that done in like 30 minutes or so. This one is a 1 hour recording, so I did a lot of talking and here and there. Let's see what we got. So tactics is A plus and compassion is A. I mean, it doesn't really matter per se. Your knowledge of zombie outbreaks is unmatched, and your survival skills have been honed to a razor-like edge. You'd almost certainly survive a real outbreak. Despite the intense psychological pressures of the outbreak, you remain a kind-hearted and generous person. I mean, it doesn't really... these letter grades don't really matter in this Dead Frontier Outbreak, because, like, some of the logic with the dialogue can be pretty debatable. And, and the hypothesis of like on certain situations vary, right? Like the one with the where you try to pull the zombies out of the Jeep, which is pretty stupid. Because normally, like, I mean, it depends on how aggressive the depends on the aggression of the zombies too. I mean, they could jump on you. But if, but yeah, like if any, it's 50-50 within that. You could probably like choose another vehicle, say, instead of having to, being desperate for the Jeep. But that should be it for Dead Frontier Outbreak. It's a pretty interesting game. I could say it's a one hell of a throwback for a Flash game, but that's the thing, right? Flash games are like these are pretty nostalgic in terms of replayability. Not really replayability, but revisiting it here and there. But yeah, it's been over an hour in. I think it's a good time to stop it from here. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later for the next time I record things. So, take care.